Wonderful. Yeah. But now we learned yesterday. We learned yesterday in the Dvar Malchut. Now, the Dvar Malchut, for those of you that weren't here before, are speeches. These are speeches given by Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1991, some 1992, before he had a stroke that rendered him paralyzed. And this went on for like about a year and a half until Gimel Tammuz. And the Gimel Tammuz, then the Rebbe was no longer physically, visibly with us. Of course, Tzaddikim never really pass away. They rarely never die. And how much more so by the Rebbe? So in that, there's a lot of different opinions in Chabad, exactly what happened, but it's really not that important. The important thing is that everyone, at least in Chabad Hasidim, believe and understand and feel and are certain that the Rebbe is definitely with us. Moses did not go up on Mount Sinai and remain there, right? That was the reason that the Jewish people sinned with the golden calf. They thought that Moses wasn't coming back. But everybody in the world is sure that, whatever it is, for sure the Rebbe is, the worst scenario is coming back. And the best scenario that he never left, that he's still here with us all the time. And everybody has certain degrees of that same thing. The point of it is that the Rebbe is trying to tell us, is trying to explain to us that we have to be sort of reoriented toward what is our day-to-day life, right? To sort of rearrange our priorities and our schedules of day-to-day life, that we should include in it the idea that any second now, Moshiach is supposed to be revealed, and that the Jewish people are going to see, and through them, the whole entire world will see three aspects of God. And in that case, that means God here is represented by the letter Aleph, because he's number one. God is one. It's all there is God. God is creating everything from nothing. So everything we see around is nothing. How is it here? How do we see it? Because it's a big miracle. God is bringing everything out constantly from nothing. This is Jewish faith, but we'll see it, that it's not just faith, that it's true. Says the Rebbe, there's three aspects of this godliness, seeing this godliness. Three aspects of it, and all of them are represented by the letter Aleph. Why Aleph? Because what we're in now, that we don't see God, and we don't feel God, and we think that God is some sort of a spiritual, religious figure or a superstitious figure, it doesn't even exist at all. The reason that we have these ideas is because it's covered over by nature, by the world. And that's called galut, gola, exile. God is in exile, we're in exile. Like when a person is, unconscious, so his consciousness is there, but where is it? It's just in exile. Somewhere, all you can see is bodily functions. You can't see the person's personality, but it's there. The same thing, the world, all we can see is, so to speak, God's bodily functions. All we can see is the creator, creation. We don't see the creator. So there's three steps. Number one, by putting the Aleph into Gola, it makes Geula. Geula, we just see that this world is, I want to call it the body, the external of God. And as soon as Uncle Joe wakes up from his coma, his unconscious state, then all of a sudden it's a whole new thing. We don't just see a body. There's a person. Right? We see the same thing. It's not just a world. We see the creator in the world. So that's the first step. We see that there's a creator. That's called Aleph. It's called Alufo Shel Olam. God is the king of the world. Then there's another state of Aleph. Then we see that there's a purpose to the world. And that's through the Torah. That's Aleph HaChachma. God will teach us. And then there's the third aspect, and that is we'll see miracles. We'll see the miracle of every aspect of the Torah, of every aspect of the world, things we never saw before, we never dreamed about before. And then all these three things Mashiach is going to do. He'll be a king. He'll show the world like King David. He'll show that there's a king to the world. Right? There's a ruler to the world. The world is ruled by God. Then the second step will be like King Solomon. He'll be a great teacher. He'll be wise. And finally, there'll be big miracles. Okay, so says the Rebbe, but Colin, no, like we said before, we have to, and the Rebbe said that Mashiach is going to have all these three things, and we also have to develop these three things within ourselves, namely to be thinking that there's a king of the universe, that God is a king creating the universe as a creator. Number two, to realize the holiness of the Torah, especially the Jewish people, to realize the holiness and the infinite reality that the Torah is God's will and wisdom. And finally, to be expecting miracles, to be expecting big surprises that'll even culminate with the raising of the dead. How can we expect it? It's going to be a surprise. It says Yagati v'matzati. It says that if you work, then it'll be like finding something. You never expected it. Like we said before in the Tosafot, we can also say that now we're on Shabbat, which is after Lag BaOmer. Like I said, when the Rebbe said this, this was a little bit different date than now. Parshat Emor. This year, Parshat Emor comes before Lag BaOmer. Back then, it came after. Okay. This is within the 3 days of Lag BaOmer, the day of the passing away of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. By means of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, there was the revelation of the inside of the Torah, which is the miraculousness of the Torah, the miracles of the Torah. Not just the holiness of the Torah, but the miracle of the Torah. The miraculousness of the Torah, that was in the Holy of Holies. And the miracle, that's the holiness of the Torah. The miraculous of the Torah is that how the Torah affects the whole entire world. The Ikar Gil, that's what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did. Brought the deepest secrets into the lowest places. And by means of this revelation, there was, and the main revelation of these big secrets was the day that he passed away. That's going to be, by the way, this Monday night. Nishmasa the rice. This is what's called the inner soul of the Torah. The soul of the Torah, that's the secrets, but the soul, the inner soul of the Torah, that's the inner secrets that were revealed in the whole course of his life. The secrets that he revealed in the course of his life, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, those were big secrets, but the deepest secrets that was revealed on the day that he passed away. Until by means of him writing these words down in the Zohar, that this was revealed afterwards to all the Jewish people in a way of Yeparsim. That's the idea of Hasidut Chabad, is to bring these deepest teachings of Lag BaOmer to be accessible and understandable, and that is say to be, you can internalize them to every person. What's the word for it? The practical, for every person in the world. We can understand and we can grasp. Just like, for an example, when we do a commandment, God is very happy. No, very nice idea. To feel this and to internalize this changes your whole life. Changes your whole life. Suddenly you realize that, I can really make God happy. I do a commandment. So we see what the commandments are, who I am. And what does it mean when God is happy? It means that the whole world is improved. Now God is creating the whole world. The whole world gets improved just by me doing a little commandment. The Torah. That's the idea of Chasidut Chabad. Chachma, Bina, and Dat. Hatchalat me'ayin. Something like the revelation of the inside of the Torah in the future. Like King Solomon says in the Shir Hashirim, the Song of Songs, says, God said, I will kiss you with the kisses of my mouth. What is that? He says that's the inner deep secrets of the Torah, what Moshiach is going to reveal. In addition to this, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai also joined, Gam Chibur as Penimet Torah, he also not just brought the inside of the Torah into the world, but he made that every aspect of the Torah will reveal the inner Torah. What's this? No. I'll do this 1 second. The Yishlom, we can say that in the Torah itself, the revelation of the Torah, the revealed Torah, the laws of the Torah, and that's something like the difference between the Aleph of teaching and the Pele. We said that the letter Aleph means 3 things. One of them is Aleph Chachma, teaching us, and the third one is miracles, Pele. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he united them both. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai united the outside of the Torah. The Torah is just a book, right? And the Torah is even more. The Torah is a book for the Jews. It's a book from God. But there's something deeper than that, even deeper than that we can actually feel the inside essence of God, why he gave every letter, every commandment of the Torah. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he joined those two together. The deepest secrets with the most external things. When we learn the Torah, we can feel this. That's what Hasidut Chabad teaches us. And again, when a person knows these secrets, it's not that all of a sudden he becomes all spacey and that you can't talk to him anymore and doesn't react to the world and just like sort of floating on the air, No, it's not so. You become more positive, more happy, more involved in the world, more susceptible. You become more human. We can say that with this power, the power to reveal godliness, that's also in the world, not just in the Torah. Like we say, Tanya, Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai said, any place that the Shekhinah, that the Jewish people are exiled, God's presence went with them. The Jewish people were exiled into Egypt, God's presence was with them. When the Jewish people were exiled into Babylon after the second temple was destroyed, the first temple was destroyed, when the first temple was destroyed, the Shekhinah went with them. After the second temple was destroyed, it says the Jewish people were exiled into Edom. Edom, it says, is exile of Rome. The Shekhinah is with them. This means, Shagam Biyotam, that even when the Jewish people are in Gola, when they are in exile, when they don't feel their Judaism, they don't feel what God is, they don't feel the holiness of the Torah, they're not in the right place. I mean, come on, these are God's people. God is the king of the universe. How could there be a Holocaust? How could there be expulsions? How could there be inquisitions? How could there be such a thing? We're God's people. God is the king of the universe. How could God let these things happen? That's called exile. That's called exile. Suddenly the whole world is upside down, right? Our Judaism is concealed and we still hold on to Judaism. That's even more crazy. That's called like a dream. Yesham Giloy, there's revelation of the king of the universe, Shekhinah Iman. Wherever they are, God is with them. Similarly, says Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai, that's one of the things that Rebbe Shimon said. Wherever a Jew is, God is with him. Similarly, Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai, he drew down, he revealed in the whole world, like you say, I can exempt the whole world from any, severities of God, judgment of God. That he can remove any concealment. Olam, the word for world, is the same word for concealment in Judaism. He can he can fix up the world, means he can fix up the concealment of the world from severity. When the Jewish people do things that make God concealed, so the merit of Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai protects them. Huh? That's why it says, you're going to see in 2 days, and there's going to be like 500,000 people come up from all over the world. They try every year, the Israeli government, they try every year to discourage, so many people coming, at least to make a little bit of order out of it. It becomes, very, disorderly, to say the least. And every year everything works out and there's pleasure and except when there was, however it is, hundreds of thousands of people come every year, and most of the people don't even know why they're coming. Rabbi Shimon wrote the book called the Zohar. Who read the Zohar? Who reads the Zohar? Who reads what the Zohar is? Right? And those people that read it, who really understands what it says? They read it to say the words of the Zohar. Very difficult to understand. A lot of the ideas are only explained by Chabad, and those ideas also have to be explained. But nevertheless, all these people, I would say 90% of the people that come, they have really no real idea of who Rabbi Shimon is. Why do they come? Not just to be with the crowd, not just to be with everybody else. They feel in their soul, in their heart, that this is real Judaism. God's love, God's kindness, God's mysteries, God's secret, God's, companionship, God's revelation to be revealed in the world in the merit of tzaddikim like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And especially Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. No one was really exactly like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. That's why we can attach this that Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of counting the Omer, always comes out in the 7 weeks correspond to the 7 aspects of God's emotions. And each one of those 7 emotions has 7 facets to it. Well, this week corresponds to the emotion of God, which is called Hod, which Hod is surrender, or also it's called splendor. Hod. What do you say? The splendor of God that causes everyone to surrender to Him. And this is Hod Shibahod, means surrender of surrender. Shemaramez, this is talking about Hod, which means Hodah. Hod is talking about surrender, or how do you say, giving thanks. Hodah Shebahodah. What does it mean? That we realize the greatness of God is totally incomprehensible. All we can do is surrender to Him. And then we realize that we think we understand about God. We think that God is not understandable. So we surrender to that aspect of God that's not understandable. Suddenly we realize that we understand that God is not understandable, that we don't understand that either. That also is far away from us, right? And there was that little bit of God that we think we understand, that also we don't understand. God is infinitely further from us than we can possibly imagine, and He's infinitely closer to us than we can possibly imagine. And that what we thought that it's impossible to understand God, suddenly we realize that thought that at least we're sure that it's impossible, that it's infinitely more impossible than we can possibly imagine. That's what it means, Hod Shebahod. Pele, that's this 3rd level of miracle. Mizeh Nimshach, afterwards, this Aleph, understanding of the Torah. Well, the Hosef, we can even say that Hod Shebahod is also the finishing of the main emotions. Okay, let me explain what this is here. When was the Torah given? When did God give the Torah? He gave the Torah after the Jews finished counting the Omer. The last aspect of God's personality, of God's emotions, is Malchut, and the last of that is the lowest facet of Malchut. It's called Malchut of Malchut. So the Torah was revealed in the most external in the physical world. What about the internal worlds? They weren't so fixed up. That's why the Jewish people worshiped the golden calf, right? As soon as they got a little bit of a spiritual alternative to Judaism, they went for it. Right? They went for the golden calf. I was idolatry, but it was spiritual. Their spiritual worlds were not really fixed up. Came along Rabbi Shimon and he fixed up all of the inner spiritual worlds. Says, where is the spiritual worlds? What's the lowest aspect of the spiritual worlds? That's Hod. Why Hod? Because Hod is the 5th of the emotions of God. The 6th and the 7th is what's called Yesod and Malchut. In the human, all these emotions correspond to the human body also. So like love is the right side, fear or power is the left side. The organ of procreation is Yesod. That's the 6th emotion. And the power of speech, that's Malchut. The organ of procreation and the power of speech, that's going out. That's a person's relations outward, how he expresses the emotions coming out. Okay, we can go into that at a different time, but Hod is part of the inner emotions. The lowest aspect of the inner emotions is the facet of Hod, which is in Hod. Okay, anyway, take that at face value. That's the lowest of the inner emotions. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai came to fix up the inner aspects of the souls of the Jewish people and of the world. The Jewish people were able to worship the golden calf after receiving the Torah because the Torah only dealt with the physical world, right? Spiritually, the Jewish people were very, very weak. They spiritually inner in their souls, they didn't really know what their souls were for. They knew what the world was for. The Torah gave us commandments, told us what to do in the world. But what about my urges? As soon as Moses wasn't there to inspire them, they were lacking inspiration. Their souls were not lit up. Came along what's called the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude. They showed them the golden calf, and they said, let's go for it, right? It was spiritual. It was exciting. It was popular. It was inspiring. The golden calf. They went for it and they worshipped it. They worshipped it. Why did they worship it? Because their emotions weren't connected to God. Well, came along Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai, and he figured out a way to connect your emotions to God. That's the idea of Kabbalah, of the Kabbalah of Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai. He fixes up the emotions. The end of the emotions is what's called Hod Shebahod. That comes out all the time when we're counting the Spirit of Omer on the 33rd day of the Omer. That's Lag BaOmer. Those, in other words, Shekolel, and that's the day that main secrets of Rabbi Shimon were revealed. That means Shekolel et Kol Hamidot. This includes all of the emotions until Malchut Sheba Malchut. Remember, we said who is a person that's wise and a person that learns from everybody, or who is a person that's rich? Rich, we said that was the emotions. Wise, we said, was the rich. I said, who is a person that's honored? Who is a person that's strong? Strong, wise and strong. We said that's Chachma and Bina. Who is a person that's rich? That's the emotions. Who is the person that's honored? We said that's Malchut. Remember, we learned that a couple days ago. That's the first Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, in the 4th chapter of Pirkei Avot. That's the end of the spirit of the main emotions. In other words, shekolel et kol. Oh, we did that. Also, a little bit of the most majority of what's called the 5th sphere, Hod. That this hints at number 5. It says the 5th aspect, 1/5 goes to Paro. Paro means, of course, the evil ruler of Egypt, but also Paro means to be opened up, to reveal. Priya. Shenit paru v'idgalin, that will be revealed all of these lights of godliness in a way of Perua, which is above all of the order of creation. This itself will be done in an orderly way. Okay, just to make this clear here, we don't know what man is, how important man is to God. That's the point of the Torah. The point of the Torah is to teach us how important man is to God. Man is the most external thing in the world. He can sin, he can go against God, but he's the most internal thing in God. He's in the world. He's created in God's image. What man is. The idea of Moshiach is to reveal the essence of what every man is, every human being is. And this is by the emotions, fixing up our emotions so that our emotions are in tune with God. And then God, as soon as we make ourselves into a vessel, then God can put into it a big blast of godliness, and that which is totally beyond our understanding or ability. That's Hod Shebahod. Hod Shebahod means surrender of the surrender, surprise of the surprise, praise of praise. From Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai was drawn down. Let me see what time it is. What time is it? 9:30. Actually, it's the time. Let's do a little bit more. Let's see how much. That's a little bit too much. We'll have to do it tomorrow. I don't know how much. Oh, yeah, it's not that much tomorrow. We can do it tomorrow. Okay, yeah, we'll do this tomorrow. Here we go. Let's just do a little bit of it here. From Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai. And that's the reason, by the way, that there's, so many people are going to come here in a couple of days. Here we go. In a couple of days, because everybody feels this. They feel how important man is to God. And that this is not revealed. And the Rebbe Shimon has the key to revealing it, the secrets of the Torah. Where does it say that man is important? Only in the Torah. Right? You go to these other religions, what do they say? You got to get out of the world, go to heaven. Right? Life is terrible, the world is awful. You're going to get out of here, you go to heaven. And the Torah says, no. Of course, there is such a thing as heaven, but man is holy, man is precious. Every human being is a gift. Every human being is a blessing. The Jews are holy. The Jews' purpose is to make the whole world holy, but to make the whole world into a blessing, every human being is a blessing. And when are they a blessing? When they're in this physical world. Then they can reveal the potential which is in the world. All these secrets, all this soul, all this good is contained in the Torah. The Torah tells us this. The Torah tells us how good the world is. The Torah was given in the world, in the physical world. The holy temple is in this physical world. The raising of the dead is the physical world. Mashiach will be in this physical world. That's what Rabbi Shimon revealed with his secrets. The teaching that we can learn from this is that the Jewish people should prepare to speed up and to speed up even more this redemption. Every second, every moment that the world is in this comatose state, it's a suffering, right? You got like Uncle Joe is in a coma, and the doctors say, don't worry about it. He's going to come out of the coma. When? We'll see, but for sure he's going to come out. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, but I mean, how long can this go on? It's been going on. He's been in a coma for almost 2,000 years. We know, we understand that, and we understand your frustration, but come on, that's enough, comforting words. So the Rebbe said, well, the doctor says, well, the fact is that it depends on you. It depends on me. The doctor says, listen, I'm a doctor. I've done everything I can. I saved his life. Everything is all right. But he has to feel that he's got what to come back to. You have to be, right, to be awake. As it is now, he's in a coma. He's not that bad. He's enjoying whatever the dreams he's in. And you have to make the world a good place. And then he'll want to come out of his spiritual state into the physical world. Make the world a good place. The family has to make it good. Everybody in the family gets along together. Everybody helps everybody. Everybody's waiting, for Uncle Joe to come. Here, the same thing we're talking about God. God wants to be revealed, but we have to make the world a nice place in order to, so to speak, to wake God up. And the fact is, God's not awake. He is awake. We're just asleep. In any case, even though it says in Purim that the thing is, God is, so to speak, when the Jewish people are asleep, so God, so to speak, is asleep. So we have to do everything we can to hurry and to facilitate the revelation of Hashem in this world, to make the world the way it's supposed to be, to wake the world up. So what do we have to do? First of all, we have to do what we can in the world to reveal that God is the king of the world, Aluf Shalom, in every detail of the world. And especially by means of that we use everything in the world for the sake of God or to know God. Also, we have to have a special addition, this is for Jews, to add on learning Torah, and especially to learn the secrets of the Torah, Chassidut, like it is. In a way that you understand the ideas that are written in the Maimonim of Chassidut. That's what we do in the morning. And also to have an effect on other people that are around us, to spread out Torah and Judaism and spread out the well springs of Judaism. And may it be God's will, and that by means of the service of God, and bringing in the Aleph of God. What do we say? The Aleph, namely that there is a creator, and also the learning of the Torah, holiness of the Torah into the Gola. By means of this, will bring immediately the redemption. Any second. Take of a miyad. Immediately. Just like the Jewish people are found in their state, in their garments, in their levushim, begadim, shalem, and their garments, whatever they have, even if their garments, even if their thought, speech, and action are dirty, doesn't make any difference, because the future redemption will come in a way that nothing will delay Mashiach. I mean, just think about it 1 second. If a person is in a coma, so, what do you got over there? You have a hope, you have memories. If all of a sudden he wakes up, it's a totally different, it's not a quantitative difference. It's a qualitative difference. Now, instead of being a plant, he's a human being. Instead of being a rock, he can talk, he can think, you can see his personality. Well, the same thing, the world is like in a coma. Coming out of it, it's a totally different thing. Suddenly we realize that life, man, humanity, reality is totally different and more meaningful and blessed than we can possibly imagine. And after that, and then nothing will stop, right? Barak Achareya Geula, then after this, we'll say, Hasiru Begadim, then God says it will take away all of our dirty garments, and then it will be, all of the Jewish people will all be tzaddikim to make the whole world tzaddikim. All the Jewish people, Bino Areno, our children. Oh, so we finished. Wow, look at this. I thought we had more to go. Okay. And all the Jewish people, we did this. And all the Jewish people, our sons, the youth, the elders, our sons, our daughters will all go together with everything they have, all of our possessions, all of our riches, all of our accumulations, our successes, and how much more so all the synagogues in the world, all the places of learning, all the Sefer Torah that we have in them. We won't leave anything behind. It says they'll all fly to America. The Rebbe has another sikha, we'll learn it soon, that it says in the Talmud, where's in Tiny? I have to look and see, Megillah, I think. Megillah, that there's a place called the Holy Temple outside of Israel. The Holy Temple in Babylon is the place where Torah is spread out to the whole world. And the Rebbe said that's 770 Eastern Parkway. It's the only synagogue in the world that cares about the whole entire world. That's where all the Chabad houses in the world are. That building will fly to Israel, and all of the synagogues and places of learning in the world will fly together with it. Huh? The news will not be able to ignore such a thing. This will include all the Sefer Torah that we're finishing now, all the Jewish people together. They will, with Simcha Gedola, that they must have finished writing a Sefer Torah. There'll be tremendous happiness and joy, and all the Jewish people will be together in the Holy Land, in the holy city of Jerusalem, in the holy mountain, and in the holy temple, the third temple, Mikdash Hashem Konadecha, that all of the Jewish people together praising and rejoicing with the creator of the whole universe, and that'll make the whole universe also happy. There'll be no more confusion in the world, no more disease, no more sickness. Everyone will be interested in doing good, saying good, thinking good, and that'll make the whole world really good with Mashiach. Amen. Now let's listen to the Yom Yom. Here we go. Amen. 1 second, 1 minute. Okay, Mashiach now. Here we go. Yom Yom.